Have you ever wondered exactly how to prepare healthy food that actually tastes good? Well, stay tuned while Avita Tizano and yours truly, Nice Collins, show you just how to do it and give you something better, a taste of paradise.
Welcome to A Taste of Paradise. My name is Avita Tizano, and we are making wonderful, tantalizing recipes this season. And I want to tell you a little bit about the raw diet. The raw diet is not nothing to intimidate you or don't make it discourage you, but it is a transition to a healthier life. You can implement maybe a raw meal once a week, or even, I wouldn't say once a month because you need more than that, but once a week, put a raw meal in your diet. Say have a raw day and eat, raw for breakfast and raw for dinner, and try new things, try new vegetables, new fruit, and experiment. So today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes because I used to love tuna as a child, and we're making a not tuna salad. So the ingredients for this recipe are 1.5 cup of almonds soaked for 24 hours, 1 cup of sunflower seeds soaked for 4 to 6 hours, half a cup of water, a half a cup of minced celery, a half a cup of minced red onion, a half a cup of minced fresh parsley, 1/3 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of kelp, 1.5 teaspoon of fresh dill or 1 teaspoon of dry dill, and a half a teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. So in today's recipe, we're using dry dill, and because fresh dill is not always accessible to most people, but we're using fresh parsley. And remember again, the reason why we soak the nuts because they have enzyme inhibitors, and it's best to soak them so they release this enzyme inhibitor, and they're better to digest. So we're using the almonds and sunflower seeds. And if you're allergic to nuts, you can double up on the sunflower seeds and not use the almonds, but the almonds give it a lot of flavor. We have our chopped celery. And celery is one of the vegetables that is good for the bones. It's shaped like a bone. And it's amazing how the Lord shaped vegetables like certain parts of the body, and those vegetables are good for those parts of the body, like walnuts are good for the brain, and beets are good for the heart. Those things. That's amazing how the Lord has done that. We have the parsley, red onions, and I love red onions in my food. The Himalayan sea salt, and kelp powder, which comes from a seaweed. That what's make it it has the kind of fishy taste. And last but not least, lemon juice, and then the dill. So it's a very simple recipe that you could just combine all ingredients and you just process in the food processor. And you want to go around the sides so all the ingredients thoroughly mixes in. One thing that most people are afraid of is seaweed. And the kelp is the seaweed in this recipe. And seaweed is so good for you. It's high in iodine, and it has so many different nutrients in it. And so you need to try. I go to the Asian store because they have a plethora of seaweed. And just try different seaweeds. And one of my favorites is a seaweed salad. And there's great recipes on the internet, so you can try different types of seaweed, and they each have a distinctive flavor. So I think this recipe is finished. So we're going to plate it. And you can eat this recipe with crackers, but I paired it with celery and red bell pepper today. And this is a great snack. It's a great recipe that you could bring to work, and you could share it with friends, potluck. It is so good and so easy. It was a quick recipe. And there you have it, a knot tuna salad, free from mayonnaise, and it's really good for you and so tantalizing. The taste is wonderful. This is Avita Tiziano with a taste of paradise. And remember to live life fresh.
Welcome, welcome. Today we have a special program. No wheat, no meat, gluten-free burgers. And now this is like a big thing that's starting to pick up more and more. Everybody is wondering like what's going on with the wheat. All right, we know we should hold off on the meat, but now it's like nobody's eating anything anymore. There's a big push, of course, as we all know, to gluten-free items, and there's nothing per se wrong with that. But today we're going to look at the little bit of the science behind it and then make a nice little burger that we all can enjoy. So I'm truly excited about this today, where we can try so many different options that God has given us. He's given us a variety of things, some that have, some that don't. But what we want to do is bring it all back together. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to bring one of my special guests, one of my good buddies back. His name is Chef G.W. Chu. Yes, Chef Chu. What's going on, Chef?
Doing great. How you doing?
Man, good to see you again. I'm glad that we can come and hang out and go over some of these delicious recipes, of course.
Yes.
You know, everybody's always like, Nice is always trying to keep it real simple and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it something a little more complicated.
Right.
I'm going to bring in the chef to do that. And you are a chef, and you actually own a restaurant.
Yes.
And just tell us real quick a little bit about that. It's called Something Better. You said we're not just going to give you anything. We're going to give you something
better.
Something Better. Tell us a little bit about Something Better, healthy gourmet food.
Well, Something Better Gourmet Foods is actually a plant-based restaurant located in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We specialize, man, everything from pizzas to stir-fries. We have a product called Better Than Meat, which is actually a meat substitute that's very tasty. So it looks like meat, tastes like meat, but guess what? It's not meat.
It's not meat. Watch it now. So that's it's better than chicken, better than beef.
Better than beef, man. So
Okay.
It looks like chicken, tastes like chicken, but guess what? It's not chicken.
It's not chicken. It's not chicken. Beautiful, man. I'm excited to hear about that.
And you know, one other thing, great thing about it, our whole menu, pretty much almost 90% can be made gluten-free.
Really?
You know, so it's a great alternative for those who may be on a gluten-free diet as well.
Oh, so check this out. So it's no meat, better than meat, and now we probably have something better than wheat. Wait. Time out. We don't want to redo what God has in store, but sometimes the Lord has given us some items that don't even have gluten in it.
Exactly.
And there's a big push with this gluten stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Gluten is making my stomach hurt,
Right.
and gluten is causing this, or gluten is causing that. Well, I just have a quick little item. Anything that God made in general is good.
Yes.
There may be certain things that may not work for some people. That's why I was talking about earlier about variety the Lord has given us. You know, I heard some people who can't eat bananas. I'm sorry for you, because I love some bananas. But no problem. God has given you blueberries. He's given you, other items. I'm talking about apples and all of these things. And so everybody now, not everybody, but in general, there's a push against a wheat product. Not per se against, but some people are intolerant of it, or something like celiac disease and stuff. And have you encountered that quite a bit?
Yes, and many of our clients, we actually have started doing a meal program that's actually geared to people that have who are gluten-free.
Okay.
And so we put them on a complete program that has no wheat and no other products that actually contain gluten as well.
Okay.
Makes it a little challenging. It's not easy cooking gluten-free meals. I mean, but we actually have been able to put together a program and helping people on that who go through that.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, the problem is not per se like only the gluten, because I was doing some studies and working with quite a few clients as well, and a lot of them, they say, are gluten intolerant. But when we did the research, we find that sometimes a lot of these, because gluten intolerance is basically a different form of an allergy,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And allergies is not per se like a bad thing. Allergies, I tell people, is a good thing. It's a sign that your immune system is like working. It's just working too much. It's overworking.
Right, right.
And so when we look at this gluten intolerance situation, we find out that quite a bit of it is initiated or provoked not per se from the
gluten, right.
but a lot of times it's from dairy products, milk and eggs and cheese. So I have all these people who are going on these gluten-free diets,
and not get to the root of the problem.
Right, they haven't got the root of the problem.
Exactly.
So if you have to do this gluten-free for the rest of your life, you haven't per se solved the problem.
Right.
So what we want to try to do is find out what is the cause of the problem. And when we started to look at the cause, it's a lot of it is related to these dairies. So they went on gluten-free, but they still have this problem because they're still using sometimes milk or eggs or cheese.
Right.
Or, as a matter of fact, with that cheese, like a lot of people say, I don't drink milk, I drink soy milk. Great. Do you eat ice cream? No. Do you eat cheese? Well, you know, it takes almost 10 gallons of milk to make 1 pound of cheese.
Wow.
You're probably better off drinking milk, if you know what I'm talking about, than actually eating cheese. But I mean, the stuff tastes good. Maybe, you know, we've done a million recipes on cheese substitutes. So, but let's look. Okay, let's say somebody does have an intolerance to wheat. As you were talking, as we were chatting earlier, now some of the wheat grains and stuff is not the same anymore. So that may be
exactly what they find is that when you look at agriculture, agriculture's changed than what it was, let's say, 80 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, right now they have wheat that's a hybrid strand of wheat, and what they do, they grow it with so many pesticides. They add it where they've made and manipulated the actual seed itself, so it's not exactly the same wheat that our ancestors had, or even when you read the Bible days, we're not getting that good wheat you know, that we need to be getting. So what you find is that it's to some degree things have changed with the actual wheat, and there could be some things that, you know, causing people not to have digestion, you know, proper digestion of some of these products. At the same time, many people that we're finding also who come with gluten allergies, many of them aren't ascertaining other causes in their diet. So they may be drinking milk, they may be eating cheese, they may be on a high meat diet, and they just say, hey, I'm gluten intolerant, but they're not actually looking at the whole picture of their life. So you have to be balanced in how you actually look at the approach of ascertaining that, ascertaining gluten-free.
And you hear something about like the wheat is not the same. A matter of fact, one thing has been shown that if you overuse something too much, you will develop an intolerance to it. You know what I mean? If you use bread every day for the rest of your life, your body is like, what? Time out, temperance. You know what I mean? It's like what allergy most people have? Peanuts. What happened in the early 1900s when it's time to make a candy bar, instead of using almonds for $7.99 a pound, they use peanuts for 99 cents a pound. So they put peanuts. Instead of using olive oil for a high amount, they use what oil? Peanut oil.
Or even soy as well.
Yep, and so when you overdo something, now people have peanut allergy so bad, if they just smell it, I mean, it's trouble. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you about this flight that I was about to have. I was coming from South Africa, and one person had a peanut allergy on a plane. And the flight attendant said, anybody in that area within 10 rows of them, do not use peanut. A matter of fact, she said she hung up. Then she got back on the microphone. She's like, a matter of fact, we're going to be over the hours for like 15, over the sea for 15 hours. Anybody on the plane who has peanuts, don't use it. Why? Because that person, they may not have to eat it if they just smell it, you know? So sometimes, yes, we have overdone wheat, and as a result, the body's like, enough, too much shall be the cry. You know what I'm talking about? So let's say somebody does have the gluten intolerance. They, you know, let's go ahead and make something delicious and phenomenal for them. And what you have a special recipe?
Yeah, we have a really awesome recipe, actually. Today we're going to be making a delicious no wheat, no meat gluten burger.
No meat, no wheat, no wheat, no meat, whatever it is. It's going to be gluten-free.
And it's going to be better than meat also.
Better than meat. Gluten-free burger. And I want everybody to enjoy this. Get your pens and papers ready, because this is an opportunity for you to work with others, to help yourself. I even do it. I in general don't have a gluten intolerance, but this is crucial. So
you know, but one of the things that you find, though, even not, let's say you don't have a gluten allergy, when you learn how to actually cook other grains.
Variety.
Some of us are stuck in the rut. You know, we use wheat, we use corn, and that's pretty much it. You know, so when you know, the gluten-free has kind of caused people to also to learn how to use other grains.
So it gives variety.
Exactly, it's a little more variety. So I mean, it all works for the best. You know, so we can, you know, so it kind of has some benefits to some degree. You know, because it's getting our creativity to start moving. If you think about it.
Excellent, excellent. So let's look at what this variety that God has given us is, and we're gonna do this quick recipe. And it's quick, nice and simple, a little burger or whatever like that. So here it is. This is our no meat, no wheat gluten-free burger, either way you call it. And all you need is 1 cup of hot cooked millet. This is the grain. And 1 cup of yellow squash chopped. 1 cup of zucchini chopped. 1/2 cup of red cabbage. 1/2 cup of onion chopped. 1/4 cup of what? Kickin' chicken style seasoning. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. All right, and so I think that's pretty much it. That's a simple recipe. You all can do this with your eyes closed. Just don't burn yourself in the process. So, Chef, where do we start with
All right, we're
this?
going to start by showing firstly the grain, or it's actually, believe it or
see
not, it's a seed. It's
All right.
actually considered a grain, but they actually, when you look at the origin, it's actually a seed used in ancient China, and it's pretty awesome. So when we cook this, we already have it. We're not going to cook it right now, but when you cook this meal, you actually use 3 cups of water and also 1 cup of millet, and bring it.
It's about 3 to 1, yeah?
3 to 1, exactly, 3 to 1. So you just go ahead and boil it up. Takes about 30, 40 minutes, and we're gonna. It's pretty much that's how you make the millet.
So this is how we buy it there from the store. So this is a
Exactly.
good grain
This
there.
is the finished product as well,
Okay.
the actual
This
cooked
is
millet.
how it looks when you cook it. So we went ahead and we expedited the process here, and this is the cooked millet.
Cooked millet, exactly.
Cooked millet, gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free, but they say this stuff is for the birds.
For the birds, a lot of times it's using bird mixes. But today, you know, we're going to get a power-packed, mineral-filled, I mean, delicious, I mean, healthy millet. I mean, they say that millet is used for helping with the colon. It's
Okay.
very high in B vitamins.
Look at that.
You actually is very good in calcium and other minerals as well. So it's very, very healthy.
Man, so let's get busy with this here, if you don't mind. All right, so we have that cooked millet.
All right.
Do we work with that first?
No, that's
or
going to
what's
be at the
first
very
step here?
end. Right now, we're going to actually make right here what I have, which is a sauteed squash vegetable blend. And we're going to go ahead and put our ingredients together. So we have our squash and zucchini. The great thing about squash and zucchini, it actually kind of has, I like to say, a slime effect. You know, and I like to say that because when it happens, it kind of does what eggs do. Kind of similar to okra. You know when you cook okra, it kind of has that slime,
Right,
kind of
right,
that yolk, egg yolk kind of effect. So we're going to use squash and zucchini. We also have a little bit of cabbage.
So real quick, we're going to mix this up. We're going to cook this, you said?
We're going to cook it. So what I'm doing right now is mixing all the ingredients, all the vegetables, plus our kicking chicken seasoning and our olive oil.
So I'll get the fire started.
That sounds
then.
good.
Is
That
all
sounds good. I'm mixing the cabbage in. Going to put some white onions. You can use any onion you want, red onion, yellow onions, any of those. We have about a 1/4 cup of kicking chicken seasoning. And then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, about 1/4 cup of olive oil, and we're going to mix all of that together.
Very nice, very nice.
And I'm go ahead and mix that together. Get the seasoning right in there mixed up.
So you got the kicking chicken style seasoning, you got the zucchini, you got the squash.
Exactly.
You got the whole works. We'll talk about the zucchini and squash here shortly. So you mean that's it? It's that simple?
That's easy, but there's some science behind this as well. What you find is that, again, the zucchini and the squash works as a binder. We use hot millet because that also has a sticky consistency as well.
All right.
So when you try to form the burger, it's going to be easy to form. You know, and that's kind of what gluten does. A lot of times we have gluten patties that we make, you know, in the vegetarian world. So we're going to use ingredients that does the same principles that the gluten does.
Very nice.
That's kind of
very
what we're
nice.
following here.
Okay.
So that's mixed up. We're going to go ahead and spray some oil on here. Go to spray.
All right, so we get that going.
I'm going to go ahead and put this on here.
All right. So that's nice and hot. That's ready to go. So one of the key things is get it nice and warm.
Exactly.
In advance there, we have the cooked millet. We have the squash, the zucchini, all of these items. Then what's the next step? We have.
Well, at this point, we're going to actually we're going to let that cook. We already have some pre-made to expedite our process here.
Okay, so this is how it should look.
Exactly.
Real quick. We put a little paprika on
Yeah.
here. This is how it should look. And once that is cooked there properly, this is how. Oh man, that looks good. Can I just stop right here in the recipe and eat it like that?
Come on now.
All right. So what do we do with this now?
Well, what we're going to do now is just simply put this in the bowl.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and put the millet on top of here.
Okay. So now we take the cooked millet, we put that along with our prepared squash and zucchini mix. All
And
right.
I'm going to stick my hand in here and just go ahead and put this together.
So you gotta get down.
You gotta get down in it, man. I love
All right.
recipes like this where we can get down and dirty.
And what we're gonna do from here, we're gonna make some burgers, yeah.
We're gonna make some burgers.
All
so you
right.
kind of see how it's kind of starting to bind. You see how it kind of has a nice.
Wow, that thing is thick
you know,
already.
Exactly. So right here we got put it all together.
All right.
And so it's great. You know, it's gonna have a nice color. We're gonna brown it on the griddle once that comes off.
Okay.
And now right at this point we pretty much is done. That's all we had to do.
So I'll take this here. Let's pretend that this is done. So pretty much, and I'm gonna go ahead, put that in my bowl back here. Ooh, that's ready. Good. We'll make a little extra for myself.
There you go.
Do we have to spray that again?
Yeah, we can spread it again, if you don't mind. I'm going to go ahead and start forming the patties. This is nice, real nice.
And quick, if somebody want to use spray, they can use olive oil or different items. Yeah, it's real simple. So we're just trying to give people a variety here. You know, work with what you have. A lot of times people get stuck in the recipes and stuff, and they think there's only one way to do it. But what we're trying to do is get a foundation going, you know? And when you're at home, if you only have olive oil, then that's what you use. If you have spray, cool or whatever, and some people do, some people don't. I mean, whatever it is, just work with it. So then we get that burger.
Got the burgers made.
All right.
Looking like
Look at that. That is
no
seriously.
Wheat, no meat. Better than hamburgers,
You
man.
have a quarter pounder over there.
There you go, man. That's
right.
it. So you can put that back on here for me if you don't mind.
Right.
And go ahead and get that brownie.
Very nice. Oh man, this is the real deal here.
Oh yes. There you go.
I was a little concerned here for a second. I was like, how is that millet gonna stick together like that? But the key is, I guess, when it's hot. Yeah.
When it's hot, it actually has like a real sticky paste kind of consistency. So when you press it, it can form. Even by itself, it can form into a patty. The millet by itself. So when you add the squash, that egg kind of concept comes out of it. Now you have that whole burger kind of science that we're working with right here.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so we get that going.
Yeah, we're gonna